Hello for the soul community. I'm Jen and this is Bobby Bones. And we're here for a mini tutorial on the miracle that is our feet. Now, we'll dive into what it means when we hear the term the tripod of the foot, and you'll run into that term pretty frequently here on For the Soul. The only prop you need to have is a tennis ball or maybe a myofascial release ball of some sort and a blanket for the end when we head down to the floor and mobilize and strengthen and love on our feet a little bit. So first, a few miraculous details about our feet. Each foot has 26 bones and 33 joints. The primary reason our body even has joints is to allow for fluid movement. And the strength and mobility of our feet impacts everything above the ankles, knees, and hips. Also, our feet are the richest sensory infused area of our body. Each sole has up to 200,000 sensory receptors, which allows countless details to travel through the nervous system and offers information that is used to adjust our gait and how we just move our entire body through life. So bottom line, our mysteriously complex and beautiful feet are pretty important. It reminds me of Psalm 139:14. I thank you, God, for making me so mysteriously complex. Everything you do is marvelously breathtaking. So let's start with a few key landmarks to get a better sense of your foot. So here, the heel, right, that calcaneus here is that heel of your foot. You can just kind of play with that, feel into that place of your body. That plantar fascia is that thick, fibrous structure underneath the foot that connects that heel to the joint at the head of the metatarsal. So metatarsals here and the head of that metatarsals at the top, right? The base of those phalanges, which are the toe bones there, and that's where they meet for that joint. So when you hear plantar fascia, that's what we're talking about. So when you hear the term the ball of the foot or the mound of the toes, it's referring to this padded portion of the sole between the toes and at the top of the arch, right? Underneath the heads of those metatarsal bones. So that's this place here, right? At that nice padded place. So when you hear the term tripod, it is that triangular connection from big toe mound to little toe mound to the heel. So you're making this nice triangular shape that's grounding through, giving you that sense of stability and integration through the entire foot. The three arches of the foot, it brings us aliveness to the foot as we move in balance, not only in our yoga practice, but throughout life. So the other piece I like to highlight by using the tripod in our yoga practice is it helps you activate and engage more fully in your poses. So it's less about your foot goes in exactly this spot, right? Or this angle. It's more about finding that global integration so that you connect fully in the pose for you, personalizing those shapes for your body. And connection and integration travels up the body to give you more stability and integrity in any shape. So let's go ahead and feel that in our body. So standing, coming on to standing, let's move this out. Thank you, Bobby. So finding your way into mountain pose here. So feel that nice just connection with the ground beneath you. And maybe even shifting a little bit side to side. You might even close your eyes. That can change your balance, so just note that. And can you connect with those tripods? Big toe mound, little toe mound, center of each heel. Is there one tripod that maybe isn't connecting quite as easily as some of the others? Are there other points in the tripod that feels a little heavier? So take a moment and notice. Okay. So let's love on our foot. Doesn't matter which one. So just remember which one that is. We're going to give it a little massage here. So start to just paint the bottom of your foot. So you're trying to get all those nooks and crannies there. And you get to decide the pressure, right? So you can put more weight, you can put less weight. I like to think of it as kind of Goldilocks, right? That place that's not too little or too light of pressure, but you don't want to be pressing into pain. Now, go ahead and find that big toe mound. Give a little extra press. I don't know, you might be able to see how my joint is that top, right? That head of the metatarsal that we mentioned. So pressing into that place, mine's kind of popping out there. And we're going to follow that line all the way to the heel. So go ahead and glide down that line all the way to the heel. And then we're going to do that to every other joint. So go ahead and find that second one there, press, and now glide down that one. Pause when you reach that heel. And then let's do that to the next. Glide. You might feel a little bumpy, little gristly stuff happening in there. It's totally normal. Go ahead and press, glide, and then pinky, glide. All right, now once you reach the heel on that last one, ground through the mounds, right? We talked about what the mounds are. So all the mounds, all the way big toe to little pinky toe, and then start to glide side to side. So this is my favorite. Feels so good. Just getting into those tissues in a little different direction. Thank you, God, for making our feet so mysteriously complex, right? That these feet that allow us to move through life. Now, let that go. Coming back into mountain pose, take a little check-in. How does the foot that you've just done feel a little differently than the other? Maybe soften the gaze. Sometimes that allows you to go inward just a little bit more. I feel a little bit of circulation, a little bit more vibrant connection with my foot to the floor. My arch is feeling like it's a little bit more lifted, like I've kind of given it a little bit of aliveness there. So you guys, let's go ahead and do the other foot, whatever one you didn't do, and paint. Getting into all of those 200,000 sensors, right? That really just so beautiful and complex. See if you can give a lot of love. This foot might feel a little different, might need more pressure, less pressure. And then here we go. So find that big toe mound. And then with a lot of intention, just glide down that whole pathway to the heel. We're going to do that to each one. Take your time. It doesn't take long to give our feet a good amount of love. It really makes a difference to get them ready, woken up. Okay, take the ball towards that heel there, kind of that edge of the sole and the heel where it meets, and then side to side. Okay. And there we go. Move that ball out of the way, coming back to mountain pose. Let's play with grounding through the tripod. Now that we've really woken up all of that tissue and fascia at the bottom of the feet, If it feels comfortable, soften the gaze, close the eyes, take the feet about hip width apart. So you really don't have to worry so much about balance. Connect with the tripods. Big toe mound, little toe mound, center of each heel. Give a little extra connection to the big toe mound. Don't lose the other points of connection, just a slight extra connection. Press. And avoid any clawing of the toe. Just feel that kind of gentle press. And what I'd like you to do is start to follow what happens upstream. That grounding is informing the engagement and that integration above. Can you feel it through your body? Through the ankles, through the knees, through the thighs. You might even feel this kind of rising of energy through the pelvis, perhaps even the glutes. I can feel my glutes kind of just slightly turn on. The hamstrings are starting to get a smidge of tone there as I connect in that really intentional and thoughtful way. Relax, let that go, maybe shake it out. We're gonna do that one more time, just to really kind of get it in, feeling that connection with that tripod. Soften the gaze, close the eyes, ground through all those points, and can you find a little extra through that big toe mound, maybe a smidge through the big toe. Feel what happens above, that inner line, the pelvis, the hamstrings, the glutes. Now let that go, you guys. Now think, how might that integration be so powerful in your balance poses? Just that engagement of the muscle supporting the knees, right? When we're engaging that kind of foundation from below in that really mindful and full way. Okay. So before we hit to the floor, go ahead and either foot, it doesn't matter. We're gonna do a top of the foot stretch. So this can be intense if you've never done it before. So just know you get to decide, right? So you can put most of your weight on that grounded foot and just lightly kind of play with those toes. But if this feels okay, just allow your enough weight to go onto the top of the foot and you can go side to side. It's a little bit different stretch that we don't always get to, especially if you've been wearing a lot of flip-flops, things like that. This can feel really good when those tissues at the top of the foot get a little grippy. So let that go. Let's go to the other side. Take that top of the foot and just notice this foot can be different. That's totally normal and okay. Maybe you're going side to side. Maybe you're taking a little forward and back. All right. Here we go. Coming down onto the floor. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and kneel so that you can see my foot a little bit better. You can go onto a chair. You can eventually do this standing. All of that is good, but I want you to be able to see that this kind of movement within my toes. So alternating toe lifts. This is a phenomenal way to strengthen all the arches in the bottom of the foot. So being on the floor can be really helpful because sometimes if you haven't done this, you have to kind of tell your toe what you want it to do, right? So I'm going to ground through the smaller toes and lift my big toe up, right? Now, if it doesn't want to listen, just kind of give it a little tug, a little pull, and then lower the big toe, and then the other toes are going to lift. But here's what I'd like you to do is still connect to the tripod, right? So you might want to kind of do this business, right? Kind of coming over to the side, but I want you to ground through, see if you can still find the pinky toe mound and you're lifting. Now, when you feel ready, we're going to alternate, right? So big toe lifts, lower, the smaller toes lower, and then alternate. I'm gonna move to my other foot. So from here, you guys, this is my better foot anyway. So from here, lift that big toe and then alternate the little toes, really working on keeping that tripod nice and grounded. Okay, that's enough of that. Go ahead and switch feet if you haven't already. Play with it. You may need to, again, kind of coach those toes. Hold down the big toe. You can always come back to this. This is a really nice thing to just get in the habit of doing on a pretty regular basis. Now, from here, you guys, we're going to go ahead and make our way into a place where you can see your feet. That, again, can be on a chair. Anyway, I want you to start to make space. So we're kind of playing with those intrinsic muscles here. I'm going to turn this way just a smidge so you can see. So we're trying to make space, and you can see some of my toes don't want to listen. That's totally normal. My left foot has a little bit more of space. And then go ahead and try to make the toes come together, right? Again, some toes that don't want to listen. And then widen. Make some space. And then close. Try to bring those toes towards one another. One more time. Widen, make some space. Those intrinsic muscles getting a little activity there. And then close. All right. Last little attention to the feet now. Find any pose that you are able to take opposite hand to the foot, right? So whatever shape that feels good in your body, bring that foot up. You're going to interweave the fingers in between the toes here, almost like you're doing a handshake with your foot. And then start to make enough kind of space so that you can move the joints of the foot. Make some nice circles, bend the toes. Circle the other way. Now I like the thumb is kind of free to give a little massage, press through there. Now last little bit. Engage those toes to press into the fingers. Keep that pressing, of lighting up all of those tissues in between those toes, and then go ahead and pull the hand out, hand free. Okay. Take a moment. Let's kind of notice the difference there, and then we'll go to the other side. So whatever shape you'd like to do, left hand connects, interweave those fingers in, making some space, helping that out. And then you guys go ahead and circle, make some nice movements within that foot there. All those joints that we talked about in the very beginning, 33 joints. Every time I think about the number, it's mind-blowing. Okay. Go ahead and give a little press into that sole of the foot. And then this last little bit, squeeze those toes around the fingers. Keep that little squeeze. Cramps are normal, you guys, just so you know, especially if this is brand new. And then pull the fingers out. Thank you, foot. So there you go. The miraculous foot. Thank you, God, for making me so mysteriously complex. Everything you do is marvelously breathtaking. Thanks for joining me. See you soon.